Hey guys, it's Jamie, bringing you another episode of Recovery Inspired Hope. And today we have a special news flash for you guys. We are so excited. We have got Shane Sims and Edmond Patterson here, and we are bringing you some amazing news. So, Shane, why don't you start?
Well, sure. I have the honor of announcing that Edmond and I have partnered on a venture that we've spent months discussing, and it's a passion that both of us had, and it's a need that we saw to open a recovery house for men. And it's not that we think that there's only a need for men, but we felt that beginning out, it'll have less requirements on us as far as time and restriction. And the name of the recovery home is Modern Pathways to Recovery, and we will take our first intakes February the 1st.
Wow. So Modern Pathways to Recovery.
Yes, ma'am.
Opening February 1st.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow, that is so exciting. And tell us, where is it?
Comer, Georgia.
In Comer,
Just a
Georgia.
little bit out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
Ducked off in the country some.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's got a nice real country feel.
And I wanted E to share that because that was his wisdom, and which I completely agree to, is that sometimes it's necessary to get people outside of their environment. And environment mean that city feel. Although Athens is not this huge city, it does have a city feel when you're in active addiction. And so going outside of Athens, even only 20 minutes, can make a world of difference.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. So tell us a little bit about what this is going to be like.
Sure. Well, we wanted something that there's some awesome recovery programs in and around Athens. Let's begin by saying that. E and I, we were both of the view that in order to best facilitate recovery, you have to be hands-on. There has to be interpersonal relationships that are established with boundaries, of course. And we just saw a need for a certain level of support that I think that we're both passionate enough to provide to the guys that will come into the house. Although we both have full-time jobs and I run a mobile detail business, we think that we can do it. And one of my beliefs is that, the cost of doing your own thing is your time, and you have to be willing to spend it.
Absolutely. Yes. And you guys have such a cool dynamic because, Edmond is like the 12-step king, right? He lives and breathes, 12-step, and just with his background being more country, right?
You can say that. I'm fine with it.
And Shane, you are, with being, the chaplain and having your, the nonprofit where PLR, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And also your background with helping, people, homeless people, and
yes, ma'am.
also in the prison systems.
Yes, ma'am.
And I just think that the two of you together are such a power-packed duo. It's just,
absolutely.
not only, is this going to be just super effective because, and even in the name, right?
Sure.
Modern Pathways,
Sure.
and the fact that you guys are looking at are open and open-minded to the multiple pathways of recovery,
yes,
right? Because Edmond was telling me a little bit before you got here about how you guys were not only going to implement 12 steps, but you were also looking at Celebrate Recovery, All Recovery, and then and fitness. You were talking about that even if a person wanted fitness, you could hold them accountable to have that self-directed pathway, and put that in with that make that their pathway to recovery.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. The thing about E and I, we both hold strong beliefs, but we're not dogmatic, and I think that's an awesome dynamic because we're able to really present what we believe because we truly believe it, compare it, and then decide what works best going forward. And I think the modern, which is E's idea, I think that's a good indication of the direction we want to go in, not necessarily so much traditional when tradition doesn't necessarily serve that purpose well. So modern being that we are willing to explore the different pathways and find out what works for the individual.
So how many people are going to be able to come into the center?
Right now we're going to have 7 beds open to start with. And later on we're looking to expand a little bit.
Awesome.
Maybe a little bit sooner than what we were planning. I heard.
Yeah.
But that's not concrete hammered down. I don't want to say anything that I don't know for sure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But we are looking to expand it later. But we're gonna get the feel of it. You know, we're gonna get the feel of it and get something set up working. You know, because there's no need to throw 30 guys on a program that we ain't got figured out yet.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And me and Shane, we talked a pretty good bit about it. You know, luckily I got to stand on the shoulders of some giants. You know, Keith Pearson, Matt Mishu. You know, at the Hope House, I'm so grateful for them. You know, and the things that I've learned there. You know, then on top of that's on top of Narcotics Anonymous. Having 3 years experience working there with them and seeing how that does. You know what I'm saying? I've learned so much for my personal self. You know, to apply in my life. You know, because I get to, by explaining it to somebody else, I get to feel it again. You know, I get to go back over it. You know what I'm saying? And that same thing, it's got to transfer. You know, I got to keep doing that. And this allows me to do that. You know, it allows me to go into the passion of it. You know, I was telling Alex earlier, I didn't get a chance to tell you. I don't think you heard it. You know, me and Shane, we were this come about. We were just casually talking. And he was like, I want to start one too. I said, all right now. Careful what you say. I'll help you out.
and he did that. That was so funny because at one point I even came to talk to Keith and ask him, you know, some pointers on it. And this was several months ago, I guess. But getting with E, he was the type. Not the type. He was the one that said, "Okay, here's my money. What we're gonna do?"
Yeah.
And so. Exactly. And so it's like, you know what, you're right, and we just started moving forward and just took one step after another, and just from my view, you know, God has favored us because things have lined up, and you know, and hopefully, as he was speaking to, we're hoping to expand, and we have the opportunity to expand in the same area, to actually occupy a quadruplex, if it so develops that way. And so we'll actually be able to create a compound of recovery that'll give us several different options when you look at it. So we're grateful.
And he also said that you were going to have transportation available.
Yes, ma'am. I actually purchased the first vehicle the night before last, thanks to E's encouragement to just get out and do it. I saw a vehicle on Facebook Marketplace, and it was just about 5 o'clock in the evening. I called a guy in Atlanta, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, it's available." So I will be there tonight. And so hightailed and got a pretty good deal on a 6-passenger vehicle.
Wow, that is amazing. So definitely things just lining up.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
That is amazing. So, what other kind of things do you plan to offer in the recovery home? So it is considered a recovery home, sober living treatment facility. What is it considered? We think that we'll elevate the level of treatment. But right now, how would you classify it?
It won't be a halfway house. That's no. They don't require 12-step.
Right.
Drug tests, things like that. It'll fall in the core in the Thor category. I think it's like a level 2 or something.
Okay, so it's a level 2 facility. That's awesome. Okay.
And see, I'm learning this lingo from you.
So you know, we are going to do mandatory drug testing. We are going to record the 12-step meetings, the meetings with a counselor. You know, because that's part of that requirement that you've got to have so much.
Right.
And we're going to record and document that. You know, and we'll have that there. The testing will be all on site. You know, the different substance abuse testing, so that we know that nobody's getting high or anything like that. You know, and like I said, what we're going to have open is going to be the counseling part. You know, some people can't jump into a 12-step meeting and share their feelings and get that weight off of them. Now, when they go and they talk to a peer specialist one-on-one. A lot of times in I'm not going to say all, but a lot of recovery houses, they don't honor that. as a meeting. They don't honor that as you working on your recovery.
Right.
I know some, luckily the one that I went to, if you done an hour of service, that was an hour meeting. You know what I'm saying? As far as like the business meeting, which can be aggravating in a 12-step program.
Right.
But a lot of, they don't count that. They don't count that. That's service. That's not a meeting.
And I can tell you that for me, we had a counselor when I went through Palm House Recovery Centers. We had a counselor who was a pastor he became my spiritual father. I was in a discipleship with him for 4 years.
Oh, wow.
And if it was not for that man, I would not be where I am today. If it was not for those one-on-one counseling sessions, because I was a meeting fanatic, right? I was super involved. I was the service girl, I was all in it, right? But it was that one-on-one time where I truly felt that I was heard, you know what I mean? And able to work through things that I maybe didn't want the whole fellowship to know about. You know what I mean? So I think that that's great that you're bringing both of those dynamics in, and it's just it's going to be such a well-rounded program. And if you guys ever need any massage in there, you know where to
absolutely
where to call,
absolutely
set up a massage room in there. And so how challenging has it been to do the paperwork with the funding and stuff like that? Like, what does that look like?
Well, we decided to go LLC first at the advice of one of my good friends who helped establish a pretty successful nonprofit here in Athens. Jesse kind of gathered the information that we need if we did want to go 501c3. But it's been, I don't know, I almost feel guilty because it's been relatively easy. When I established the LLC for my company, I remember pretty much the routine that I had to follow to get it done. But now it's like you can go to a website and it will do everything, produce all of the information you need on one website. And so I found that. So we've been fortunate and have a lot of people that are willing to help. So it hasn't felt difficult.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It hasn't felt difficult.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
Which means it's purposed.
I mean, it's purpose. Right.
Absolutely. We were talking about that earlier. I was like, yep, it's going to be anointed.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, we would claim that. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Awesome. So if anybody that wants to get involved, is there anything that you need that anybody could, do you need some kind of donations? Do you need any service people? What can our community do to help you?
Well,
I'll tell you now, there's one thing me and Shane talked about, and I'll just be honest with you, I'm not an artistic person. And we need a logo. We need logos. So guys, come out, help us out. And it's got something that represents modern pathways.
Right.
The new stuff and the old stuff and all together.
Right.
And that's sort of what we need. So anybody got any ideas on that? That's what I'm looking for. I want that.
That's it.
Help me there.
That's it.
Awesome.
And definitely anyone with NA experience, CARES experience, because we want to develop a system of care in the lingo of CARES, where there's a continuum of care. So the more people the more people that are involved in your recovery, the more options that you have. And so we do want people to volunteer to get involved so that the faces that the guys see are not just our faces, and of course, by us not being 501c3, we can definitely take donation of canned goods or food, but we would not be able to provide a donation receipt, so we're not soliciting donations. But in the case someone does have an overflow that they do just want to give away, things like that, basic things would help. Hygiene products, kind
of like a starter pack for like women. Sure. Do you think that you're going to be able to take people like right from prison and right from jail?
That's a personal passion of mine. That's something, of course, that E and I will have to get together. For right now, I'm kind of following I am following E's step, being that he actually worked with and for the Hope House for a long time. I'm of the type that, no need to try to reinvent the wheel or figure it out when you got someone with a perfect wheel at hand.
Do what's working.
Yeah, it's like, right. And it's working. He has a hell of a reputation in Athens for being supportive of individuals in recovery. So it's like whatever he's developed or whatever tools he's used then I'm going to follow that, And so my things that the personal ambitions, such as, of course, my experience with the criminal justice system, give me a vested interest in guys coming out. However, I'm going to make that second to following these lead and just getting it established first, and then kind of see how we can work things in.
Awesome. So if you want to donate some time, you want to do some service work, I'm sure that there will be some things coming up where we'll need some hands on deck. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
If anybody has, anything that they want to donate, clothes, hygiene, cars, whatever.
Right. Absolutely. Right. Definitely. Always. Yeah. Yeah. We actually want to provide transportation. I mean, for a few different reasons, but if no one donates, then we'll end up buying them with our own money because we believe in providing that consistency to guys that want to get to work.
Absolutely. So, awesome. Say the name again.
You was talking about, that I have some guys already lined up from the 12-step side that are going to come and speak, and tell their story. So they won't just hear our story.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So,
some different guys and stuff.
So anybody who even wants to come tell their story, get in touch with these guys, get involved. That is, service has been my pathway in recovery. So staying, what do we call it? Staying in the middle of the boat, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Continuously giving back. That is, how I have remained sober for 5.5 years.
Absolutely.
Continuously giving back.
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
well, thank you so much. And tell me the name of it one more time.
Modern Pathways to Recovery.
Modern Pathways to Recovery. Make sure you guys get involved. Make sure you subscribe to Jamie Tall on YouTube, and we will see you next time.